Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to FTW, Fans Talk Wrestling. We are the Unstable. I am Ben Gerard, this is Stigma, and that's Colin Delaney. Just kidding. I'm Kevin Hawk, this is Travis Colt, and that's Thomas Wolf. Don't interrupt me.
I thought I was going to get to introduce myself. Apparently, I was wrong. Of course you were.
Let's jump right into things with a short results rundown of the awesome pay-per-view that was Money in the Bank.
Yes, we are coming right off of Money in the Bank this past Sunday, and it was probably as exciting as we expected it to be.
Quick pause real quick.
Yeah, for those of you wondering, it's 4th of July, so if you hear gunshots, explosions,
We're not in Iraq.
And if we don't run, we're not in a war zone. It's just fireworks.
It's America's birthday and also my dog's.
America.
Fuck yeah!
Alright, back to Money in the Bank.
Alright, so, Thomas Wolf, take us through a little rundown of what happened to Money in the Bank.
Everything good happened at Money in the Bank.
Pretty much.
That's a good that's a good way to say it.
Almost everything good. But
Good and expected.
yeah, I learned two things watching Money in the Bank: never bet on red and always bet on black. And what I mean by black is Tyler Black, who you may know as Seth Rollins, because jumping ahead to one of the most important parts, Seth Rollins won Money in the Bank briefcase, which my gut instinct kind of said he was going to do, and then these two convinced me he wasn't, so then I bet against him.
I was totally convinced that Dolph Ziggler was going to win just because I think we were under the same assumption that Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins were both going to cancel each other out of the match.
Absolutely, and they figured out some way to prove us wrong.
Which,
Well,
honestly, I think it made it a little better, a little more exciting, and we didn't see it coming.
Yeah, well, here was my theory going into it. Seth just joined the Authority, therefore he should win because he needs a tangible reward.
This is true.
If he joins the Authority and loses, then why did he turn his back on the Shield?
Absolutely.
That was my theory. That's what I thought. Then they convinced me that no, Dean Ambrose would probably cancel out Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler would win. And why would we bet on Dolph Ziggler? Because he's awesome, but he loses all the time, except once against Wade Barrett, and I hope they feud. Anyway, back on track. Money in the Bank. Awesome pay-per-view.
The Money in the Bank ladder match itself was definitely one of the highlights of the show. Having Ziggler and Kingston and Swagger and Rollins and Ambrose all together, they all meshed really well.
Yeah.
And, it was one of those good matches where they did keep you in suspense because there were a lot of times where Kofi was up there grabbing the briefcase for a long time.
I thought Kofi was going to win.
So did I. I was freaking out. I was about ready to jump up and be happy for Kofi because I've loved Kofi since we started, and I wish he had more of a prominent role on the show. Money in the Bank would have been awesome, but obviously we didn't get that.
Yeah, I never marked that much for Kofi. I love Kofi, but I never marked that much for Kofi.
I think the last time anyone's marked that hard for Kofi was when he was main eventing against Randy Orton.
Okay, so, yeah. It was a solid, great match. Kofi running up the ladder while Swagger held it was awesome.
Yeah, they never cease to amaze me with the amazing shit they can do with those ladders.
Moving on to what also was a great match. The Divas Championship match. I hate saying that phrase, by the way, Divas Championship.
Yeah.
Butterfly belt, get rid of it, please.
Please.
Bring back the women's title.
The Divas Championship match between Paige and Naomi.
Naomi,
Every bit as good as I thought it was going to be.
We even talked about how we knew it was going to be a good match, and I think it even went beyond our expectations, because we know Paige can go, we knew Naomi could go, and these two, the first, they locked up, rolled out of the ring, and the referee had to break them up because they were locked up for so long and didn't break it, and I thought that was one of the most ingenious ways to start a Divas match. I've never seen that when it comes to Divas before.
Yeah, it was everything we said about the undercard taking the show because every main eventer was in the big match.
We knew they had to.
It's what it was, but through the whole show. The Usos and the Wyatts did it, but we knew that was going to happen. But even Rusev and Big E did it.
They beat the fuck out of each other.
No, yeah. You busted your ass in a match when by the end there's blood coming out your mouth.
Yeah, that's true.
That Big E spear through the ropes and Rusev started coughing up blood at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he took the flat backbone out of that spear right off the apron. I thought there's no way he's going to keep going. But he still held his composure. He still looked strong, and he beat the hell out of Big E.
Rusev
definitely beat anything I thought.
Rusev confirming the legitimate beast that he is.
Yes. Book Rusev like that more, and I will chew the fuck out of him.
Hashtag spin kicks and shit 2014.
Yeah. It's going to be a good year for Rusev.
Yeah.
Makes Lesnar tap out the accolade.
Yeah.
Do it.
So another match that we knew was going to be quick. Stardust and Goldust.
That
Made
better
very-
match than I thought
It
was.
was a good match, but still we knew they were going to make
Yeah.
very quick work of Ryback, which they did.
Love the chemistry between Cody and Dustin in that team.
Yeah, Cody, I know you've said it, Cody has taken this new character and he's made it his own.
And he is a runner with it.
Yeah.
Running is an understatement.
He's shooting to
sprinting
the
with it.
stars.
Yeah.
And exploding them and letting Stardust reign all over the earth. And now we have Stardust.
And that's all we can say about that.
Yeah.
I can't top that.
How about Layla and Summer Rae with Fandango as the special guest referee?
Oh.
Definitely
The prettiest match on the show.
the prettiest match on the show, referee included.
Prettiest match while also being the ugliest match.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
definitely to me the go buy your T-shirt, go get your refill on your soda, go to the bathroom match.
Yeah, but I don't think anyone expected anything
No.
less. I mean, it is. Layla and Summer Rae are very good wrestlers, but this match wasn't about wrestling.
Right.
It was about trying to impress Fandango, and
Which, by the way, Fandango being the referee is what made that match.
Yeah.
hilarious. His bedazzled Fandango
Yes.
referee shirt
More
was awesome.
More referees need shirts like that.
And just
Every referee needs
hip,
a shirt like
random hip gyrations while
Yeah.
just standing there.
Like this.
Best spot of that match to me was when Summer Rae had the foot choke in the corner on Layla, and Fandango was doing the count 1, 2, and then she started like showing off her leg.
Yeah, and he like got distracted. I wouldn't have been able to count anyway.
Yep.
So
I guess then the only thing we haven't touched on now is the main event.
Yeah.
main
the
event.
big. Well, let's go back because we really didn't say much about the Usos versus the Wyatts either.
Yeah.
Great match.
There's not much to say about that. Just because
Right,
we
it was-
knew it was going to be good.
Really good, really well put together. I'm not sure what happened with Luke Harper at the end of the match because he kind of disappeared for like the last 2 minutes of the match.
I
Solid.
didn't notice that.
Did he really?
Yeah, because I remember you mentioned it first because the last bit of the match is they're double teaming Harper. Rowan, Eric Rowan for the match. And we both expected Harper to come and make the save when they went
Oh,
for
that's
the pin.
right.
But
That's
he
right.
was
Okay.
gone. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure what happened.
I feel like
He
they
was
did.
following the buzzards.
Well, they did like their like, all super kick, then like double super kick, and I think one of them dove on him. So that was probably like the Bray Wyatt or Luke Harper's done out of the match.
Probably.
Which left Eric Rowan by himself. This was a great way to start the pay-per-view.
It
wasn't super high action, but it didn't lack at all. It was the perfect It was a perfect amount of momentum to start the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Because there was matches that were better, there were matches that were worse, but it didn't
set the bar too high.
Yeah, it didn't start here, and then you're like, oh, we have Ryback and Dust to Dust, and we have Summer Rae. Oh, but we have the Money in the Bank, and you didn't have that. It was a very gradual build.
Oh, also Adam Rose. Had a match.
Adam Rose versus Paul Revere.
Yeah.
That match was great. Adam Rose, Sandow, for being an impromptu thing, not scheduled on the card, was pretty cool.
It was a good added treat to the show.
Yeah.
I think. It did.
And it didn't run on too long. That
And
was another good part about it.
It didn't feel forced.
The elbow is coming.
That was hilarious.
I love that. If he just could stick with that gimmick and that could be his thing.
You didn't see his gimmick on Raw though.
I didn't.
You didn't see his gimmick on SmackDown either.
The Raw one was way better.
Yeah, you're right. But SmackDown was funny.
Yeah. By the way, this guy's not caught up on this week in wrestling. He's
Yeah,
getting caught
I
up
had
right
it.
now.
Dang.
I had to
But
work.
that doesn't mean he doesn't have opinions. So, the Adam Rose bit, awesome. I think it's a good way to keep the momentum going for Adam Rose
Yeah.
without trying to move the storyline forward or anything.
Yeah, the Adam Rose gimmick, you can keep adding little elements and it doesn't get too convoluted, but I feel like there's not a set direction for him yet.
Well, there's not a place for him to have a set direction.
There's no anti-character to put him against yet.
Bring back Lance Storm.
Oh, that.
If I could be serious for a moment.
Whoa,
Hey!
whoa. And Zack
Lance
Ryder
Storm,
was
if
the
you're
button.
hearing this, do everything you can to. Lance Storm, please watch our show. Please.
That'd be great.
All right. But before we even go to the main event, I'm going to backtrack even further.
Oh, God.
To the pre-show, the kickoff show. Daniel Bryan announcing that he's not sure when he's going to come back.
Yeah,
They might have to do another surgery. That's sad. But I think the whole moment for me was made a lot better by the appearance of Bo Dallas.
the motivational, the most inspirational man in sports entertainment, Bo Dallas, came out and told Bryan,
Little Daniel.
that's what he called Little Daniel, that it's sad that he can't wrestle and climb the ladder tonight, but he's just got to keep climbing the ladder of life, and all he has to do is believe.
He doesn't like Bo Dallas.
What don't you like about Bo Dallas? What is it?
If you like Bo Dallas, tell us why. in the
Keep it
comment
brief.
section.
What don't you like about Bo Dallas? I really want
In
this.
5 words or less.
Bo Dallas.
Okay,
Fuck you.
Bo Dallas is the anti-Cena though. Everything about Bo Dallas's gimmick is what everyone hates about John Cena, and it's totally aware of that and just mocking that fact.
Bo Dallas.
I love Bo Dallas.
It's
Thomas Wolfe likes Bo Dallas. Travis Colt could care less about Bo Dallas.
Bo, leave.
that was good.
Okay.
I
So
thought it was hilarious you
that
called him a boner.
Yeah,
yeah, only Daniel Bryan.
yeah.
Daniel Bryan
The
do it.
boner and the Bo leave. were
But yeah, ultimately, yeah, we got the Daniel Bryan got that last moment, like this is, but if there's one thing I can say, it's Bo, leave, and
good. What
I don't know.
that means is that Bo Dallas is going to win the title. And Daniel Bryan's going to come back and feud him for it.
I wish.
For the love of God.
I wouldn't be
It's
okay
going
with
to
that.
be Bo
to be
Dallas
honest.
versus Brock Lesnar.
I'm gonna have a whole stable of people that like Travis
And
Colt's
Jack Swagger.
Jack
Bo
Swagger's
Dallas, Brock Lesnar, Jack
Swagger's the
triple
fucking
threat.
captain. Well, no,
Scott Steiner's
Scott
the captain.
Steiner's the captain, and Jack Swagger
Scott-
is
Scott
his
Steiner
right hand
gives the
man.
motivational speeches.
To Bo Dallas.
No, but he gives the hype up speeches in the back, and Bo Dallas.
No, that's Hulk
interprets
Hogan. Brother. No, Hulk Hogan's got them on
Okay,
the diet.
back on track because
Yeah.
we're gonna cut some stuff out.
Yeah, we are.
That's for sure. Alright. And then the main event, we had the 8-man Money in the Bank ladder
Okay,
match for the championship.
ignoring the finish, solid match.
Yeah, good match. Better than I expected.
I can't say anything bad about it because I knew that either Cena or Orton was
Well,
gonna
I can't say anything too bad about the finish because it's like I was saying. They're going to be a transitional champion. John Cena won it. He's not going to get hurt by being a transitional champion. He'll have the belt. He'll drop it not too long from now, and we'll move on.
I beg to differ on that point. I don't think John Cena's going to be a transitional champion at all. I think they're going to make this a full-on storyline of it. It's going to happen because with the setup they had the next night on Raw, it can't just stop.
That being a segue
Aha!
into the next segment we're going to do, Monday Night Raw.
Monday Night Raw. Very exciting from beginning to end.
Let's talk about things that happened on Raw that were exciting.
So
Let's try to talk about things.
yeah, let's talk about things and stuff. So we'll start off with the first big storyline. We had the Authority congratulate John Cena on his title win and acting real nice to him, calling him an A+ player. Hey, you're going to be on the cover of 2K15. Hey, you're a 15.
Cool looking cover.
You know, you're a fit. Yeah, actually, this is probably the best John Cena cover we've ever seen.
Yep.
Yeah, you're gonna be a 15-time. You're a 15-time champion. Congratulations, all this stuff. I love the fact that John Cena went, something's wrong here. John Cena immediately knew. He's like, he didn't pretend like, oh yeah, they're being nice to me, and then have him turn on. He knew something was wrong, and he called him out on it, which led into Triple H saying, okay, we can do this one of two ways. You can either do this the easy way or the hard way. And of course, being John Cena and that being Triple H, it was going to be the hard way regardless. So Triple H would make the Fatal 4-Way match for the upcoming pay-per-view Battleground, where John Cena will defend the WWE World Heavyweight Championship against Kane, Randy Orton, and Roman Reigns.
Yeah, and I don't get what the big hype over them saying that the odds aren't in Cena's favor. in this fatal 4-way match because there's 4 guys involved. He doesn't have to be involved in the pinfall type thing. Because we're coming out of an 8-man ladder match.
Here, okay,
Twice as many people and metal ladders.
I feel like taking the ladders out of it.
Okay, here's what I'll say about it. Oh, I just came up with a thing. In the ladder match, everyone was going for the same belt. No one was champion. No one was the target. In this, John Cena's got 3 guys trying to beat him.
Yeah, but not necessarily because in the fatal 4-way, anybody can pin anybody.
Right, but the idea being, well, he's the champ. We don't want him to retain.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try to beat the champ.
Yeah, I think the only thing that has the odds going against him are the fact that Kane and Orton are both the Authority.
Which will make it it'll be interesting to see how they
Which then ultimately also works against Roman Reigns.
Yeah. So it's more so a triple threat match.
It's like 50% this way, 25-25.
It's John Cena versus Roman Reigns versus the Authority.
Yeah.
Versus Randy Orton and his buddy.
Post promo by the Authority and John Cena. Triple H sets the main event for Raw in motion. Randy Orton Kane versus Roman Reigns and his buddy John Cena. Not buddy, but partner.
Kind of saw that coming. It's the usual, we're building towards the main event.
It's the Teddy Long finish.
Yeah.
Make the tag team match, brother.
The new Teddy Long.
Blah, blah, blah.
John Cena realized, okay, that's what I gotta do. He goes to get ready, makes it to the top of the stage, and Triple H says, now, keep in mind that if you do win at Battleground, remember, there's always a plan B. Cue Seth Rollins music. Seth Rollins comes out. I thought that was an interesting picture. He had Cena standing there, and then Seth Rollins just kind of stands next to him, looks at the briefcase, looks over at Cena, and just walks towards the ring like, yeah, I know I got this.
Transitions into
Seth Rollins versus RVD. I saw that one.
Yeah. Rollins defeated RVD. So 2 weeks in a row, Rollins beats RVD.
Big feather in the cap for Rollins' career, I think.
Rollins gets to, he gets to celebrate for a little bit, and then Ambrose comes on and throws
big curveball.
The proverbial stick of dynamite in his face.
I put a piece of dynamite in your briefcase. Don't open it.
Yeah, it's like the movie Speed.
Dean Ambrose would tell him to open it. Are you kidding?
It's like the movie Speed, where you can't drive the bus under 50 miles an hour or
something
explode.
Like that. Yeah.
Here's basically Ambrose saying in his own ingenious way, hey, every time you try and cash in that briefcase, I'll be watching you.
This Ambrose promo, this was my favorite part of Raw, bar none, because this adds a whole new level to this Money in the Bank thing.
Yeah.
This has never happened before, and this is great that now Seth Rollins, who is guaranteed a title shot, has to worry about his title shot because he's guaranteed to get his ass kicked by Dean Ambrose.
Prediction time.
Oh shit.
I predict that Seth Rollins is going to be the next person to let his opponent know in advance when he's going to cash in Money in the Bank and make it a triple threat match so he can keep his eye on Dean Ambrose again.
I think it would be cool if Seth Rollins is actually the first person to not cash it in and actually have to give it up because he waits a whole year. He's so scared. He's so scared to cash it in because of Dean Ambrose that he never gets to cash it in.
My prediction is a thing will happen with stuff, and a briefcase will be involved.
Fuck, he just beat us all.
I try. No, really, I think we're gonna get really close to a year up before Rollins uses it because it's a good thing that it makes it so Seth doesn't have to be involved in his storyline. He can just be involved whenever anything comes in question. He can always pop up the, hey, I'm the Money in the Bank kid. So, I think they're going to run it on him until at least next year.
Yeah.
Rumble Elimination Chamber time?
Until
Probably
Dean Ambrose forgets about him.
Yeah, I mean...
I don't think Dean Ambrose is ever going to forget it. He really wants to rearrange his face.
He's going to...
That's his thing.
Dean Ambrose is going to do that, and then Seth Rollins is going to cash it in after.
Best case scenario for Rollins, wait until Dean Ambrose gets injured.
Dean Ambrose versus Jack Swagger, and then Seth Rollins can cash it.
Anyway, this is an interesting storyline. Talking about interesting storylines.
And Jack Swagger.
Fuck Jack Swagger. So after being one of the most hated people, because of what he just recently did to Barrett, the fact that he hasn't really been over since he was with Cesaro, they find the easiest way to turn Jack Swagger face.
Probably the only way they could have done it successfully without taking a long time to do it.
Yeah.
Like, he just, all of a sudden, he's the most popular person on the roster. He's going against Rusev.
You can't boo Swagger right now because then you're booing America.
Yeah, and it's the 4th of July, bastard.
Yeah.
You say every time you're saying fuck Jack Swagger, you're saying fuck USA.
Fuck Jack Swagger.
We love you, America.
Yeah. So now we're getting a storyline which we actually talked about in the first episode, where we'll get the promo feud between Zeb Coulter and Law.
Which I'm excited for.
Yeah.
I said that's what I wanted to see.
I'm totally okay with that, but I might be going for Russia.
Let's just get this straight. He's now bullied Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And then in the last 2 pay-per-views, he's beaten Blacksaw Jim Duggan. And now he's going to be feuding with Swagsaw Jim Duggan.
I love that.
That was Chainsaw Jim Duggan that you just did.
I don't give a fuck.
And it's crazy how successful we were. But it's all based off of 3 words. We the people.
Yeah, so we got a Swagger face turn, and now moving on to a real simple match which had a very interesting point to it. We had Sheamus team up with the Usos to face the Wyatt family, which, coming off of Money in the Bank, you had Sheamus and Bray Wyatt in the Money in the Bank match.
By the way, kudos to almost everyone who worked Raw was somebody who was working Money in the Bank too.
Yeah, these people were hitting each other with ladders and falling on ladders, and they were still working 24 hours later.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, great match. I didn't see it, but
yeah,
just great match.
Very solid match. Nothing really stood out to me except the fact that the non-champions, the Wyatt family, went over the U.S. champion and the tag team champions.
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting to put the non-champions over the champions.
It's only a matter of time before the Usos get taken over by the Wyatts and Harper will become the tag team champions. Because let's face it, they have their own theme now.
Bray Wyatt, win the United States title because that symbolism would be fantastic.
But you know what? Let's jump ahead a little bit into Raw. Let's talk. Since we're talking about Bray Wyatt and winning things, maybe this is why they had the Wyatt family look so strong, because we had a couple returns on Monday Night Raw.
Oh. Yes. The highly anticipated return of the Great Khali.
Yeah!
He chopped Damien Sand. I'm sorry.
The best. Okay. Sandow on this gimmick of dressing up as other people. They were in.
You didn't see this.
Just.
They were in the New England states. They were in Connecticut, weren't they?
Yeah, they were in Hartford, Connecticut, and
Vincent Kennedy McMandow. Best gimmick.
Let that sink in. Let that sink in.
It was really good.
It was the best Vince McMahon impression since DX.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because Triple H did a great one, but holy God. Damien Sandow. So good. It was so good it pissed Stephanie off. Stephanie would send Great Khali out. Khali would chop Sandow on the head.
And I mean, hey, they were hyping up the return of a champion and multimedia superstar, which Great Khali, former heavyweight champion of the world,
Been in movies.
Yeah, could have been him, but it wasn't.
But it wasn't. So then we move on to another segment where there's a limo waiting outside. We're gonna get to see who this multimedia cross-branded superstar is, and it is The Miz.
Awesome.
And he came to play. So Miz comes out. He's making his return.
For the fans.
For the fans, because the fans needed The Miz. He's been fighting off TV and movie execs and directors and everything so he can come back and be in the WWE. But he wasn't the champion that was returning.
Yeah, what? There was just more. It's like a really good infomercial. But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more, because
it's like a Russian nesting doll of champions.
Yes.
Because then you get a
But
big
the-
explosion.
Yeah, and,
And the lights
the
go
next
out.
level of nesting doll is former World Heavyweight Champion,
And
former Intercontinental Champion,
the first ever undisputed champion.
where he beat The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin in the same night.
Mark.
Y2J Chris Jericho makes his return. The crowd loses their minds.
And their shit. Great response from the crowd.
Oh yeah,
Jericho looks great.
yeah,
no
yeah.
And
Very
yeah,
handsome.
great physical condition. He comes out. He doesn't have to say anything. Miz is just talking crap at him. Miz goes, "What is this? Jericho comes back. You don't say anything for 2 weeks. You and your stupid light bright jacket." He takes the light bright jacket off, and then Miz starts running his mouth again. And then Jericho drops him with a code breaker. Jericho gets to talk a little bit, but he didn't get to finish his Raw is Jericho, because we get the famous screen warp blackout, lights come back on, and the Wyatt family is surrounding Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho proceeds to get his ass handed to him and ends with a Sister Abigail. This should definitely be an interesting storyline.
yeah,
I'm excited for this match.
They've
I don't
got-
care what they could make
They can play
faces at each other.
hopscotch.
They can play hopscotch, make faces at each other, call each other
Double Dutch
stupid
with Rowan
head.
and Harper.
They can say stupid head, and I'd still be excited for the match.
Jericho will stay stupid.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it is a great dynamic because you're not only working the Jericho Wyatt angle, but you're also simultaneously working the Jericho Miz angle. And you can intertwine that so many different ways. And you're talking about it, you think Miz, Jericho, Wyatt. We're talking 3 great promo guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's going to be great. I'm interested to see where it goes. But then we have the smallest of the nesting doll. We had Paige come out and talk about how in the last 3 months there's been a lot of hate towards her. How people don't feel like she deserves to be champion. How she doesn't deserve her spot on the main roster.
And how she proved them all wrong.
Which
and that
she
she's
did.
not a fluke.
Yeah, she has beaten every diva on the roster in succession. But then the return. I love you, AJ Lee. Thank you for coming back. So AJ would come back, and she'd work the same little angle that Paige did the night after WrestleMania. She,
Weasel her way into a Divas title match.
which initially Paige wasn't gonna do.
Like AJ was a good
But she eventually, she's like, all right, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. So they have a match. Really great, very, very quick match. We get a new Divas champion.
I called him.
You did call it. You son of a bitch. You are too good at this. You need to stop playing this game. Paige couldn't believe it. AJ almost couldn't believe it, but she was very confident in her ability. And so now it'll be interesting to see where this takes Paige, because Paige is kind of being booked as heel now, and they're kind of
Sort of.
flipping.
I don't know. When we get to SmackDown, we'll talk about SmackDown because it was very unheelish.
Yes,
SmackDown,
yeah, well,
so.
it was. So yeah, we'll get into a little bit more of that once we get to the SmackDown spot.
All right, my segment on Raw that I really enjoyed
Oh god.
was again Bo Dallas getting to come out and asking for a 60 seconds of silence for his fallen brother in arms, poor Daniel, and Bad News Barrett. 60 seconds of silence. It was great. It was a good thing to get him over.
So yes, we have an interesting backstage segment where Nikki would be doing a backstage interview talking about how Stephanie kicked Brie off of Raw last week, and Stephanie would interrupt and would say, "Oh, you and Brie are gonna have a tag team match against the Funkadactyls tonight," which she'd then go, "Oh, by the way, Brie abandoned you, so I guess you're going into it with a handicap match." And we get, obviously, a win for the Funkadactyls, because I don't think Nikki Bella could beat both Funkadactyls. This whole like Brie not being there storyline I feel like it doesn't need to be there,
Yeah.
but it's there. I don't really know what to say about it. Because it
should
carried over to
be-
the main event, and I'll talk about that.
It should be not its own thing, but just kind of intertwined with the Daniel Bryan.
I think that's the way that they're attempting to keep the Daniel Bryan versus the Authority storyline alive. Is they're gonna have to do it vicariously through the Bellas.
I guess in that sense, since Cena is the champion, and Stephanie's messing with Nikki, those two now become the Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella
Yeah.
going against the Authority.
Yeah. Kofi versus Cesaro, great match. Two great athletes, two great competitors.
So this was also coming after the announcement of the Battleground Battle Royal for the vacated Intercontinental Championship.
Yes.
Since we now know that Bad News Bear will be out for a significant amount of time, more than likely I'd say probably 4 or 5 months-ish, which is
Unfortunately.
really sad.
Uh,
Fuck you, Jack Swagger. So Kofi Kingston and Cesaro would come off the announcement of the Battleground Battle Royal for the Intercontinental Championship, since we know Bad News Bear will be out for a while. These are the first 2 names added to that Battle Royal, which I'm excited for both of them to be in it, because they were both in the Andre Battle Royal at WrestleMania. Which
I see it being very similar to the Andre Battle Royal.
yeah, I have a feeling this Battle Royal is going to be very similar, just not as
Big.
grand.
But it looks
Yeah, having these 2 in the Battle Royal is definitely going to be interesting. But this match, a great match.
And it was great to see Kofi Kingston get a win on Raw.
Too
except
bad
for
we
the
didn't
fact
see the win on Raw.
We didn't get to see the win on Raw because during the commercial break, and this is the kind of the error they have to stray with when they are doing live TV, is that sometimes shit can happen even during the commercial breaks.
Yeah.
So Kofi accidentally scratches Cesaro's eye.
Yeah, the official diagnosis was he scratched the sclera. It wasn't the cornea, so it wasn't like... If it was the cornea, he probably wouldn't have been able to wrestle for a while. So it was a slight scratch on the right side of the eye. But ultimately, they called the end of the match.
Had to call the match early.
So Kofi got the win. But...
Yeah,
Cesaro wouldn't take
decided
too kindly to it.
Cesaro decided to play Ultimate Frisbee with Kofi Kingston.
And chucked him at Michael Cole's face!
And
Great segment!
if I find that on YouTube on loop of Kofi Kingston getting hucked at Michael Cole, I'm gonna find that loop for 10 hours and just watch it.
Yeah, Michael Cole couldn't even do commentary for about 5 minutes after that. It was left to
He
Kenny
went
J.
down.
Yeah, literally, he launched Kofi at Michael Cole's face.
And you could hear Kofi hit Michael Cole in his little headset.
Yeah.
And the first thing you hear is King go Michael, are you okay? Quick run over, another win for Goldust and Stardust over Rybaxel.
much quicker than Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
That's just probably because it wasn't like Money in the... I'm guessing because I didn't see Raw, except for parts of it. But it wasn't the Spotlight show like Money in the Bank was. You didn't get
No,
the Spotlight
definitely.
on the undercard.
Yeah.
So they had to go quicker.
Yeah.
And it was a good cool down because you had the AJ return right after that, and then post the AJ return is the main event of Raw. The Cena and Roman Reigns versus the Authorities, Orton and Kane.
Yeah, I kind of figured it was going to be a very basic match, which it was, but it was what happened after the match that made it really exciting. Because the match broke down, Orton and Reigns ended up going somewhere else. Kane attacked John Cena with the stairs. So Cena would be down, Triple H would come in to make sure he was okay, and once he realized he was knocked out, he'd start motioning to the back. Seth Rollins would come out with his Money in the Bank briefcase and attempt to cash in. Referee would be, no, he's knocked out.
And I thought if Rollins would have cashed in, it totally would have been the bomb.
I almost thought it was going to happen. I was sitting there going, is Seth Rollins really going to win the title?
But Dean Ambrose said earlier.
But that was the great thing. I forgot about it.
Then it was TNT, and then it would blow up in his face.
But,
like a bomb.
And then that's
it
literally what
yeah.
happened. That was the end of
But
the
no, I forgot that Dean Ambrose had said that. I was like, oh my god, is he going to win?
You actually forgot he said that?
Yeah.
Really?
Which is great because it was subtle enough to make me excited for it, but I was glad that I forgot about it.
It wasn't subtle about it.
No.
Did you not mean to use subtle?
They didn't overhype what he said.
Okay.
They didn't constantly hit it throughout Raw.
Okay.
He said it, made it a thing, but didn't make it a lasting memory, which made that spot more exciting for me. The fact that I actually thought Seth Rollins was going to cash in, and then I went, wait, no! And then fucking
And then
Ambrose...
CM Punk returned.
I wish. Then Ambrose would come out, would attack Seth Rollins, and obviously we wouldn't get a title change on Raw, but it should be interesting to see where that leads into as far as on our way to Battleground.
I'm hitting my first segment, my question of the week that I send out to my indie star friends on Facebook. This week's question, which didn't get quite the response I'd like, is if you could pick any one wrestler that's a current wrestler today, who that you've never faced before, who would be your dream opponent?
This is a great question.
It's a good question. I expected a lot more answers out of this one because, I'm certain as we are, thinking of what matches we'd like to see. Obviously, I feel like you guys would be thinking about what matches you would like to have.
Yeah. AD stars are a little more busy than we are.
I guess.
We're probably thinking about it still.
Nanny Christ said Mercedes Martinez, which would be a really good match.
That'd be a great match.
Let's see. Who else? Darren Corbin said that he'd like to face Kikutaru, which would be a hilarious match.
Oh my god. There'd be so much fucking around in that match.
Yeah. And
slow motion spots would be funny as hell.
Dasher Hatfield, the old-timey King of Swing, said that he'd like to face none other than Rob Van Dam.
Ooh.
That'd be an instant classic.
Absolutely.
And then what I thought was a great turn of events, Billy Rock gave me 3 options. Johnny Saint, Zack Sabre Jr., or Drew Gulak. Which, in a turn of events, Drew Gulak then said he would like to face Billy Rock. So somebody book it. Drew Gulak versus Billy Rock, and I tell you, this match will draw fans. Because these are 2 extremely talented wrestlers.
They were slated to have Cesaro versus Ziggler on main event, but obviously the injury would limit Cesaro, so they'd exchange some words between not only Cesaro and Ziggler, but they'd also get Rybaxel, and they would get Big E and Rob Van Dam all talking about how they were going to be the Intercontinental Champion after the Battleground Battle Royal. So we now have a 6-man main event for main event, and we'll get there in a second. We had the Wyatts go over very simply over R-Truth and Xavier Woods. We would have the Funkadactyls come out, then Nikki Bella would come out, and Stephanie would come up on the Tron saying, Nikki, I know, with your sister Bree not being here, you don't have a tag team partner, so I made it a point for me to find you a brand new tag team partner. Her tag team partner would be Alicia Fox. Alicia Fox. Tamina's still injured.
I know.
Alicia Fox would come out. I don't even think Alicia got in the match. Nikki was in the whole time, and when she tried to go for a tag, Alicia Fox kicked her in the face. Ooh. And then Cameron would take advantage, get the pinfall, and Cameron would continue to act like the bitch that she is.
I don't want to see Smash now.
Another backstage segment, we'd have Sheamus would be putting an open challenge for the U.S. title for today's SmackDown on the 4th of July. Del Rio would accept the challenge, and he would say not only is he going to be the U.S. champion after beating Sheamus, but he was going to go on to Battleground and win the Intercontinental Champion.
Then even be the champion of all the continents.
That's a lot of continental championships.
Even Antarctica.
That means he's a champion of.
That means he's the world champion.
Pretty much.
We would also have another really good Heyman Cesaro promo.
Yeah, obviously we don't even have to say it's a good promo.
Yeah.
Heyman was on the mic, which makes it gold.
What was really great about this is Heyman took the injury that Cesaro was dealing with and made it seem more prominent than Daniel Bryan and Bad News Barrett. He says, there's a lot of champions out there forfeiting right now. You know what I mean? Yes. But I've got some bad news for you. Cesaro's not going to forfeit. He's going to be Intercontinental Champion. The end of the promo was great because Heyman would say, after he's champion, he'll be able to tell you that in 5 different languages. He proceeded to say 5, the number 5, in 5 different languages. And then Renee Young standing in the middle. You got Cesaro and you got Heyman, and they go, 5. And they'd walk away. And then they'd both come back and go, 5. And then they'd walk away. It was hilarious. More gold from those two.
Then the main event match.
That would take us into the 6-man tag match. Very solid match. We'd have Ziggler, Big E, and RVD take the win over Cesaro and Ryback. This is a great way to show strengths of all these guys going towards Battleground. So now, officially in the Battleground Battle Royal, we have Dolph Ziggler, Big E, RVD, Cesaro, Ryback, Curtis Axel, Damian Sandow, Great Khali, Del Rio, and Kofi Kingston. Moving on to NXT, kind of a lackluster show for NXT.
They all can't be winners, though.
Yeah, there were still great moments, but overall it was kind of a boring show. We had a really quick match furthering the feud between the Legionnaires and Cass and Enzo. Big Cass would completely destroy Sylvester Lefort in less than 2 minutes. We wouldn't have Neville or Tyler Breeze on the card, but we had a promo backstage where they'd be kind of, furthering the tension between the two of them, leading towards whenever Tyler Breeze wants to cash in on his contendership. We still don't know when that's going to happen. We'd move on to a Divas tag match with the remnants of the BFFs, because apparently we missed last week that Summer Rae left the BFFs.
Yeah, not sure when that happened.
I don't remember that happening. But the commentary kept referring to them as the remnants of the BFFs. It was just Charlotte.
That makes them sound dirtier, like grungy trash heaps. The remnants.
The remnants of the BFFs. We'd have Sasha and we'd have the women's champion Charlotte take on the team of Becky Lynch and Bayley. Which we talked about how Becky Lynch looked a little nervous last week in her first match. We're all in unison. We love Bayley.
Yeah.
Bayley
Which, by the way, I'm going to say, I really hope that Becky Lynch and Bayley take their relationship to the next level.
They hugged a lot in this match, which was great. They worked so well as a team. They played off of each other really well. It was a really good match, really solid match, but the BFFs would win in the end. So after they won, they would go to the back. The BFFs would then break up, even though they won the match. And Charlotte would let us know that next week on NXT, we will see former BFF member Summer Rae take on Bayley to determine the number 1 contender for the Women's Championship. So either way, we should be getting an interesting match out of that. Another match that really didn't do anything for me, CJ Parker, who's doing this whole Go Green hippie storyline, defeated Steve Cutler, who was enhancement talent. Didn't do anything for me. But NXT did have an awesome main event. Earlier in the show, they announced we had Sami Zayn versus Justin Gabriel. Tyson Kidd, who's been having issues with the Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville thing, would be talking to Justin Gabriel earlier in the show and saying that, we're main roster guys, we're former champions. We need to be at a higher level than these guys on NXT are. But the only way we can do that is if we take the spotlight. Sami Zayn would, in the end, beat Justin Gabriel. Amazing match. Neither of you guys have seen it. You have to watch it. A couple of really good moves. Justin Gabriel actually he set up for a Celtic Cross, and then when he dropped to one knee and did a neck breaker to Sami Zayn out of the Celtic Cross setup. Which I popped I was like, oh fuck! It looked like it hurt. I would never want to take that move. It was not fun. But Zayn would ultimately get the win with a complete shot into the Koji clutch. He would get Justin Gabriel to tap out.
Which I'll mark anytime I see the Koji clutch show up on TV.
Yeah. But Kidd would get in. He would attack Sami Zayn. He'd keep telling Justin Gabriel to, come on, let's get in, let's beat him up, let's get him down. And Gabriel didn't want to at first, but then he gave in. Two of them beat down Sami Zayn for a while. Adrian Neville would come out and make the save. So we could be setting up for a pretty exciting tag team match if we have Zayn and Neville versus Kid and Gabriel.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and all around that seems like a really promising NXT somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And in a last bit of midweek wrap-up, I just want to throw this out there because I know there's TNA fans out there, and I'm sorry you're TNA fans. In an update from what we said last week, that in a couple weeks you'll be seeing the debut of Ezekiel Jackson and Gene Snitsky, where they come out and attack Team 3D and Tommy Dreamer. Don't get your hopes up because they don't actually work for the company. It was a one-time deal. They're never coming back. They're not signed.
So never say never. They could come back.
I don't get it. TNA sucks.
All right.
Back over to the Indies with Kevin Hahn.
Thank you, Travis Colt.